I'll tell you, a lot of hard work can trump a lot of money. And this candidate that I'm bringing up now has been working harder than anybody I have seen in a long, long time. She's the candidate for the 1st Congressional District. A hard worker, and it's my pleasure to announce she's received the endorsement of the United Auto Workers of America, United Steelworkers Local 1, and the West Virginia AFT. And I'm sure more are coming. She's been a good, hard candidate, and I'm going to tell you what, there's another award coming up. You guys want to come up? Come on up. Bring up Jake Brummage and Mark Dorsey from the Democrat Men's Club. Democrat Men's Club has a thing they give out called an Outstanding Democrat Award. And Sue, please come up. I think they couldn't have picked a better candidate than this for the Outstanding Democrat. I'll let these guys talk about this.
Every quarter we pick out an outstanding Democrat who works the hardest for the Democratic Party. And at this time we couldn't find anybody that works any harder than the candidate Sue Thorn, and that's why we're going to honor her and present her with this plaque of our endorsement to Sue Thorn.
All right, Sue! Woo! Go, Sue!
Thank you very much.
Well earned, well earned. What happened was they were sitting around one time, they were trying to find someone to take back that Democratic seat in the 1st District. We lost it last election. And some people sitting around, and Sue was one of them, were trying to find someone, recruit somebody. And someone said to her, you know what, Sue, why don't you run? And I don't think she took them serious to start with. But she does now. They talked her into running. She's doing a great job. Campaign motto is run, Sue, run. And Sue's been running. So I'm going to tell you right now, I give to you the next Congresswoman from the 1st District of West Virginia, Sue Thorn. Run, Sue, run!
All right, Sue! Good girl! Woo!
Thanks, Vern. Thanks, Marion County Democrat men. I really appreciate it. I am really proud to be here. And to be speaking in Mannington on the same day with Cecil Roberts is a real honor for me. But I've got to tell you, I'm really glad I'm speaking before him, because I've heard him speak here before and I wouldn't want to follow him. I want to be clear right up front. I will never vote for right to work. Never! Woo! But I also guarantee you, if the Republicans take over both houses of Congress and the presidency, national right to work will be the thing they're going to fight for the most. And we've got to stop that from happening. As Vern said, I've never run for office before. A lot of you don't know me. But to understand my politics, you need to understand a little bit about my past. My grandfather and great-grandfather were Works Progress Administration workers in Wheeling, you know, the WPA. My family survived the Depression because the government created jobs for people, and they weren't handouts. They built roads and bridges and dams and public facilities that are still being used. And that is exactly what our federal government needs to be doing now. We need to get people back to work, rebuilding our roads, rebuilding our bridges and our other infrastructure. And that wouldn't only create construction jobs, but if we actually required that the materials used in those products be American-made materials, it would revitalize our manufacturing sector. Require that we use American-made steel in infrastructure projects. Woo! After my parents got married, my dad got a job in a United Steelworkers plant. And like many families, that's what moved us into the middle class. My mom went back to school when my sister and I were in grade school and became a public school teacher. When I hear the attacks on teachers that are going on in this country, I'm appalled. That is wrong. I don't know a single teacher who ever got into teaching because it was a way to make money.
That's right.
They got in there because they care about kids' education. But you know, that's what the richest 1% has always done. They pit us against each other. As long as they can keep us fighting, they win. They pit private sector workers against public sector workers, non-union workers against union workers. And while the richest 1% enjoy the banquet, The rest of us are scraping up the crumbs off the table, and that's not the way it should be. Right now, we have corporations that enjoy tax breaks for shipping jobs overseas while we have Americans losing their jobs. We have health insurance executives getting bonuses for denying treatment, and we have families who are losing their homes because their medical bills are bankrupting them. Pharmaceutical companies are making record profits while senior citizens are cutting their pills in half because they're in the donut hole. Blackwater, Halliburton, and others have become war profiteers while we have military families existing on food stamps. We have veterans returning home with serious health issues that are leading to unemployment, homelessness, and unfortunately too often suicide. We have coal barons who are reaping profits while black lung is on the increase and combustible coal dust is ignored. People are dying in this country because of decisions that are made in D.C., and we can't continue to let that happen. This is the United States of America. We must fight for those being left behind. And I learned at an early age that workers have to fight for what they deserve. My dad started out as a shop steward, he became the treasurer, and he was on their negotiating team. And I can remember as a kid him coming home furious about what the company was doing to try to bust his union. He would talk about at the negotiations where his company was talking about moving his plant to the Carolinas or Kentucky where they had other plants. You know, those right to work for less states?
Right.
You know, and even the consultants were saying, no, you know, this plant here, you may be paying higher wages, you may be paying higher benefits, but it's your most profitable plant, and we know why. It's because union plants are always more profitable. They're more productive. Union workers are more productive. But when you look at the work and what's going on with companies, unfortunately, we're no longer surprised when somebody like RG Steel files bankruptcies and cuts wages and benefits for workers and retirees. Benefits that were promised to them because of their years of service. And now we're seeing Patriot Coal filing bankruptcy and attempting to ignore their legacy liabilities by creating subsidiaries in New York, you know, so they don't have to have their court case here in West Virginia. I believe Patriot's bankruptcy impacts West Virginia workers and retirees, and that case should be heard in West Virginia.
That's right.
But also, Congress has to change bankruptcy laws so that no longer will workers and retirees lose their pay, health care, and pension benefits, while executives receive bonuses and Wall Street insiders reap huge profits. This is the United States of America. We must fight for the 99%. Now, as Vern said, my candidacy is not an expected one. It is very much about whether or not organized people can beat money. But I came from an organizing background, and I know it can. And it won't be easy. But already in the primary, our dedicated volunteers worked hard in counties like Marion County, Mon County, Harrison County, and throughout the 1st District. And I received 13,000 more votes than our current congressman, and that's because we worked hard. And frankly, if organized people can't beat money, we no longer have a democracy. We're going to win this race because people are passionate and they know what's at stake in this election. We've got people who are knocking doors, making phone calls, writing postcards, raising money. Yes, we don't have the $2 million our congressman has, but we are raising money and we're going to turn out voters. I need your help. And if you need motivation, I want you to remember that our current congressman started receiving campaign contributions from Don Blankenship 6 weeks after the Upper Big Branch mine explosion. What does that tell you about who he's with? Bob Murray held a fundraiser for him in Wheeling earlier this spring. No, I am not a friend of coal barons, but I am a friend of coal miners. This is the United States of America. Organized people can beat money, but we've got to fight together. I need your help. Thank you.